Hi, I'm Nicole Alvarez, and I'm sitting here with Mr. Jared Leto. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
I just saw you, but it was a little hectic because it was record release day.
Yeah.
So I'm excited that we're sitting down. I have so much I want to talk to you about. A little less than a year ago, you asked people to send in videos on the 4th of July, essentially telling you what America meant to them. And you asked 5 questions of them. Were you overwhelmed with how many people actually sent that in?
Yeah, I mean, it was incredible. We had probably over 10,000 responses as far as long form interviews that were crowdsourced from across the country. But then we also had 92 of our own camera crews that went out and shot specific stories all over the country on a single day. That's called the Day in the Life of America. Maybe we'll just shorten it to a day in the life since the album's called America now. But it'll hopefully be out this 4th of July. And it's incredible.
I've seen footage. It's insane, and it's going to be extremely powerful and moving. Would you say that's what started the road to this America?
I think it's one of the things that, it's a good question, but I think it's one of the things that helps solidify the name of the album. And then it just made sense because there were these things like Mars Across America, where I just took this crazy journey. There was the Museum of America. It all just kind of made sense and fit together in a really perfect way, a beautiful way.
So before you went on this focused journey through America, what was your honest to God view of America, our America?
I mean, my view is probably the same. We're a country in the midst of great change, of some instability, uncertainty, but I think still a country full of optimism. Even people that were, I talked to a Marine who lived, we had just left the Navajo Nation, and I spoke to this young guy who had served in Iraq, and his greatest concern about the country was the safety of his children and sending his kids off to school every day. And, but he was still optimistic about the future and hopeful. So that was my view before. I travel across the country a lot, so I think I have, I don't just have an East Coast, West Coast kind of perspective.
One of the things that I've always admired about you in particular the most is you're one of the biggest superstars in the world. You've been on TV, you have an Oscar, you sell out arenas. I mean, you're in the Guinness Book of World Records, and yet you remain so accessible. And to me, it's such a beautiful thing, whether it's on social media. Like I'll tweet something and I don't know what time and you'll get back to me, or your fans, or whether it's through Camp Mars or through the Museum of America, and you're just walking around like you're not Jared Leto, and you can't exactly go unnoticed because to me you move like a flicker of light, like it's hard not to see you. So you decided to hitchhike across the United States. What was the master plan, and did you have any reservations?
I did have a few reservations, but not about being on the street and in the thick of it. I'm not really Jared Leto. That's the truth.
It's an illusion.
It's just a mask. No, I'm really curious about people, and whether it's at our concerts and, bringing people up on stage throughout the night, whether it's turning our cameras on people, which we've done for a decade. We make these documentaries and these music videos that are focused on our audience. I love to shine a light on them. I think it's interesting. I'm interested. So I think it comes from a really organic place. The trip across the country was really cool to do because I took that trip as a kid when I first came to California.
When you were in art school.
Yeah. And I had a backpack and a couple $100 and I slept on the beach in Venice. And that changed my life. So it was fun to kind of do it again. It was fun to visit some of the places we're going to tour. And, you put an album out, you have an opportunity. You can make a press release and, put your face on the album cover and that's okay. That's cool. Yeah, that's fine. Sometimes that's enough. But we just wanted to have a different adventure.
So I was watching one of the daily recaps. I think it was New York City, and you were, if I'm not mistaken, singing with a gospel outside Madison Square Garden, something like that. But my phone rang, and I had to pause it. I didn't realize it until I looked back. I paused in on a still of you, and you look like you're full of wonderment, like you are having the most magical time of your life. It's the greatest thing that's ever happened to you, and I got that watching you. Then I started looking for that. And what were some of the experiences or some of the people that you met that will stay with you?
Well, running around New York City with the gospel choir and playing in the subway and on the streets,
cool.
yeah, that was pretty great. You know, again, a place I lived when I was younger, and you know, I had hopes and dreams as a kid, and to see some of those realized is a beautiful thing. And then just to be on the ground, you know, walking the same route or in the same subway, taking the same line that I did, you know, the one of the 9 downtown, it was really fun. And we went to Grand Central, and we did similar things across the country where we just decided to jump out and start singing or play a song. And we talked to people, but I think it was just it's in line with the album, it's in line with the film that we made, and it's in line with who we are.
It's crazy how it all connects. Like it all kind of just falls in line together. One can't kind of live without the other. Out of all of the things that you did, what sticks out the most? Because you did the gospel choir, you sang with foster kids, where else you did the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm trying to think.
I think going to the Navajo Nation was really memorable. Yeah, well, we went to Sedona, but before that we were in Navajo Nation. That was really interesting to be on the reservation, and eye-opening and really beautiful. I mean, it was an honor to be able to take the adventure that we took with a guy named Sean out there, and NASCAR was really fun.
Yeah.
You know, but hearing people's stories was really impactful. Just people's stories. And, you know, we all have our challenges. We all have our stories. And every story is as important as the next. You know, everyone is fascinating if you shine the light on them in the right way. And I found that to be true.
You were, I read an article and you were talking about the truck driver. I don't think you went into his story, but it made me want to know about his story and this journey that we've taken with you, promoting America and getting America ready, meaning your art. I want to know people's stories now, and I don't know if that's something that you meant to accomplish.
Absolutely. I mean, absolutely.
I want human connection.
Yeah, and I think we'll see some of that in the film that we're making. And you know, that guy was from Milwaukee, and you know, he drives 70 hours a week or something insane, shipping Harley Davidsons across the country. And you know, those are the people that keep the United States alive.
Yeah.
They're really, really important to our life. They're the lifeblood of this country. So it was great to see that, really powerful, encouraging to see. You know, you if you look at the news, you think you drive across the country and you just see people arguing all the time, and it's really just not the case. You see a lot of people that have a lot in common. You see a lot of people that want to live in peace and be safe and create a better world for their kids. And that's the truth of this country. That's what I've found, at least.
There's a lot of people that have more in common than they realize, but like the media and things like that tend to pit them against each other without actually allowing them to have a conversation with one another. But there are people that have more in common than they realize. Everybody just wants to be happy.
I think so. I think that people want to, you know, it's important to disagree because that's how we change. That's how we grow. That's how we, you know, debate and discourse are fundamental. But you do see a lot of people sharing a lot of fun and community, and it's an absolutely beautiful country too. When you drive through, you just can't believe how much nature and how much beauty is in this country. It's phenomenal.
It's overwhelming. Now let's get to America. Were these songs built around the documentary? Or were some of them born a little before that?
I think they just happened in conjunction with each other. It was simultaneous. There are songs like Great Wide Open or Live Like a Dream or Walk on Water that are, you know, kind of obvious and specific and but the way that they relate to one another is that the album will be the soundtrack for the film.
For the film.
Yeah. So in a sense, that it's part of the narrative of the film.
Walk on Water and Dangerous Night are already gargantuan hits. They must have tapped into some sort of like universal psyche. Were you surprised at how well those two songs are resonating?
I'm always surprised when people listen to our music.
Still, really though?
Yeah, I mean, I know there are some crazy people in the world, so I expect a few people to listen to it. But yeah, I think every time you make an album, you never know if people are going to reject it, if they're going to follow you, especially if you're changing corners, as they say. You can confuse people. You can, if you're not predictable and if you don't play it safe, you lose some audience, you gain others. So I think when you take some risk, you never know. And the album does explore a lot of new territory for us. It's a really modern album. It's not just This Is War or A Beautiful Lie. It's really, it's a different experience, and that's important. Even if you piss some people off and it's not just guitars, bass, and drums, which we never were anyway.
At all.
But it's getting a phenomenal response. I'm happy. And my brother's happy.
I could tell.
It's like we worked 5 years on this, and even if it just went away tomorrow, what we've gotten from it already has been a massive reward.
Do you have, I know it's hard because it's like picking your favorite child, but do you have one? Like right now I'm stuck on Remedy.
Yeah, my brother wrote and sang that song, and it's incredible.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to get jealous pretty soon because so many people are talking about that song. I kept joking with him that I pushed him to write a song, by the way. And
was he shy about it?
He'll thank me. I've been telling him for years, write a song. I mean, he writes, but no, I'm just meant on his own. And I always joke with him. I said, man, you could have the Beth. You could have the Beth. I hear you calling, but I can't come home right now. Which I think is Kiss's biggest song ever. That was piss Gene off.
So you got him to do it, and how did he feel like showing it off to the world? Was he like, oh my God?
I think he's excited. You're probably nervous because it's not like he has the chance like I did to start singing in front of people in clubs, 10, 20 people. Like when he sings that song live, there's going to be 20,000 people in front of him. So that's got to be pretty intense.
So you are going to make him sing it live?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
He's going to sing that. Yeah. If I get a break on set, I'm happy. I mean, on stage, I'm happy.
The natural question I would be, are you, and this is the second time I've seen you in like a few days, and the first thing I always ask you is, are you tired? Physically, I know that emotionally, because I could read it off you, you're elated. This is an incredible journey you're on, but physically, how do you do what you do?
Yeah, yesterday was supposed to be my first day off in a really long time. I mean, months. Many months. But I did end up working half the day, at least.
Are you just wired that way, or you have to work?
I had, maybe 50 emails, 100 emails that I needed to thoughtfully get to. Sometimes I say there's nothing better than working on Saturday than working on a Sunday. I get more done on Sunday than I do a Tuesday.
I actually do. I said that out loud yesterday. I got more done yesterday than I do during the week when you're on it.
It's like the secret great work day. But it is important to have, as an artist, as just a human being, to have time to think, to meander, to breathe, to rest. That's important to clear your hard drive so that you can continue to have things to offer. It's important to listen and not just be talking.
So A Day in the Life of America comes out July 4th?
I hope so. I mean, it's going to be a mad dash right now to finish this thing. So we're working away.
The Monolith Tour kicks off in June, and you've got some great road mates, K-Flay, Joywave, Welshly Arms,
Walk the Moon.
Yep. Do you pick those yourself?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's great, because they're all so very different.
We wanted it to feel like a mini festival when you came through town.
Yeah.
When we come through town. And there's there's a great diverse group of artists on stage, and It's going to be a blast. I mean, touring in America in the summer, I mean, July maybe we could have skipped and done it August, September, I don't know, but June, July, woo! It's going to be a blast.
One of my favorite shows was at the Hollywood Bowl. Who opened up for you? I don't even remember, but you had those like huge balloons.
Oh, yeah.
So
you know who opened up for us was Panic at the Disco.
It was Panic at the Disco. It was such a great show. So later on, I'm on Cahuenga and there's a huge traffic jam. People are honking and I'm like sitting through this red light 3 times. I'm like, what is going on? The balloons had gotten loose. The big, huge balloons had gotten loose, and there was a couple of them on Cahuenga blocking traffic. And I was like,
That's hilarious.
it was a good show when
shutting down Hollywood with our props.
So I want to finish it with, now that you've been kind of on that focused journey through America, is there anything different in the way that you view it than when you set out through it? Did you learn anything that you didn't know before?
I mean, I learned so much, and I probably learned and was reminded that there's a lot of support and love and commonality between people. I mean, there's a narrative that we're just living in this purely negative space, and those are the people that are screaming the loudest, oftentimes saying the least. There's a really important conversation happening in so many different areas of politics and social, but there are a lot of people that share common values, that share common dreams, that share common goals. And I guess I was just reminded of that once again. And what an opportunity that we have in this country to build the United States of America that protects everyone, that allows kids to be safe in school, that allows people to have the freedoms that they desire, and that allows opportunity for everyone. Yeah.
I want to say thank you. I've been a fan forever, and I will probably always be. But one other thing that I love so much about you, all of you, is you've always given the world a voice. I've always been able to see the world through the 30 Seconds to Mars lens, and where sometimes people like to paint a dire picture of our world because it's a scary place. It always feels like I can make a difference if I'm looking at it through the 30 Seconds to Mars lens. You empower. So that's a great thing. Congratulations. Thank you for painting this beautiful picture of America. And we will see you on the road.
You will.
Yeah, that's
right. At the Forum in LA.
What last question?
Oh, incredible.
Out of all of the venues in LA, because there's so many that are legendary, but the Forum.
The Forum is the spot. The Forum is going to be the show of a lifetime for us. This tour has just been, I don't know what has happened, but the production is incredible. The show is incredible. The audiences are incredible. And it just makes sense. It just is every night has been just relentlessly insane and amazing. But I think the Forum, we always have great shows in LA, which is nice because a lot of bands, you get cursed with that hometown show.
Yeah, a lot of bands here don't.
Yeah.
People would imagine it's LA, you're going to have this huge show. No, sometimes it's very industry. Yeah. It's a lot of this.
Yeah, and people are just jaded or whatever. But
or
we
too
always
cool for the room,
we just always have great shows here. Hollywood Bowl shows or the Greek or...
You don't allow us not to. You the second you guys step on stage, it's like, listen, mother effers, we're going to have a good time whether you like it or not. And everybody's like, okay, we can do this. Yeah. And they let their guards down.
We've all trained each other now. But the Forum is going to be incredible, and that's one to check off the list. We've never headlined that venue, and it's going to be a night not to miss. Absolutely insane. We're going to bring some surprise guests out, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
I guess you won't tell me who the surprise guests are.
They won't be a surprise.
I wouldn't either, but I had to try, right? Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Jared, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Such a huge part of our KROQ family. And
happy to be that.
And so down to earth, and give Tomo and Shannon our love.
I will.
And
for sure.
We'll see you at the Forum.
Okay, bye.